Right. You say your last name, Hope, eh?
Yeah.
Not Hope, like
Hope.
New Zealand.
Is that how you say hope? Hope.
In New Zealand, yeah, Hope. Hey guys, Dylan here from The Evolved, just here with Jaspa Hope. He is a young weightlifter from up in North Queensland. I'm just going to let him introduce himself, let him tell you a little bit about his story, and then we'll just ask him some questions.
Alright, so I'm Jaspa, as you know. I've been doing weightlifting for about 4 years, and I've represented Australia 4 times in different countries for Oceanic and Pacific Cup. I've placed gold in Samoa in the 89 kilo category for Commonwealth and Oceania youth. I went to Vegas for Youth World Championships. I've been to Gold Coast in 2017 for the Oceanic Championships and New Caledonia for Oceanic Champs, and placed silver and bronze.
Cool. And how long have you been weightlifting for?
About 4 years now.
4 years, so how old were you when you started?
I was 14 and a half.
Yeah, cool. What got you into weightlifting?
We saw it advertised on Facebook by Leanne, who's still my coach now.
Who's Leanne?
Leanne Knox. She's a powerlifter, weightlifter, everything lifter.
She's a mum too, isn't she?
Yeah, mum of 15, I think. 6. She does powerlifting at the moment, and she's got world records for masters for pretty much everything you can think of. And yeah, she's an all-around great athlete.
Yeah, cool. And so where did you grow up, and like what was the sort of attraction to weightlifting, and why have you carried it on?
I grew up in North Queensland, and I continue to do weightlifting because I was naturally good at it from the start, but also training becomes addictive, and I just haven't stopped since, pretty much. Trying to qualify for that next comp every time.
Cool, man. And over time, like I see you got the West Side t-shirt on here. But yeah, who's some of your biggest influences, and who's been I guess some role models that you've looked up to? Lifters,
all the greats like Rebecca Koha and Piros Dimas, but people that have taught me personally, like Leanne and all the MASH crew specifically, they've been great.
Yeah, cool. And if you were to choose like your favorite training day, man, would it be, your technical weightlifting, would it be the powerlifting lifts, or just a good old pump bodybuilding session?
Probably technical, because it's not as heavy.
Yeah.
Can recover faster.
Yeah, cool. And what's your goals long term, man?
Junior World Championships for next year.
Cool.
Hopefully I'll qualify by the end of this year.
Yeah, awesome. And in terms of like, obviously that's the outcome, like what do you have to do as an athlete to sort of, I guess, make sure that you give yourself the best chance to achieve that?
That failing a lift is fine, not to get too upset about it and affect your training in future programs.
Cool. And I guess that, man, like, so from that lesson is, when you say like it's okay to fail, why have you had to learn that one?
Because for my first comps, I started lighter, so I didn't really miss any, but when I got to more heavier lifts and more serious competitions, anything happens on the day. Whether you get sick, you feel not as strong, fatigued, can't eat as much, all depends on the day. And if you do bad on that day, you have many more competitions to do in the future.
Yeah, for sure. Cool, man. And I guess on that sense, man, like when you sort of approach either training or competition, we'll probably go with training, but when you walk up to the bar and training, is there a certain process you go through, or is there something you think about?
During training?
Yeah, like with each lift, do you sort of have a bit of a routine?
I try not to think about the technique too much, otherwise you'll overload your head with thoughts before you lift a heavy amount. I kind of think of the basics and just do it pretty much. There's not a lot to it.
Just lift
all the training before, technique, led you up to the lift, and that should take over from there.
Yeah, for sure. And clean and jerk or snatch?
Snatch.
Yeah, Cool.
It's faster, lighter, it's done quicker.
It's like a light deadlift. That's good.
Cleans, you gotta like think if you're gonna get under it here. And if you do and you don't make it, it can hurt.
Yeah. What's been your favourite competition you've ever done?
Samoa.
Yep.
Even though I was really sick, I got 6 for 6 and got gold, so that would have been my favourite.
Yeah, cool. Actually, you were telling me the other day about your story in Samoa. Can you sort of dive into that?
So I got 3 parasites on the day, like Giardia, E. coli, one other one plus gastro, and pumped me full of meds to help me not get sick on stage, right? So I didn't feel my best, but technique was still there. I was still fast, snappy, deloaded, and yeah, turned out great.
Yeah. Do you reckon maybe partly being sick, did you take the pressure off yourself, or was it just like go out there and give your best, or?
Just do my best.
Yeah.
There wasn't really much I could do. Like if I'm sick, I'm sick, and I lost a bit of weight. I wasn't feeling full great, but yeah, just to do your best.
Yeah, was that a pretty good lesson for you, realising that, like, you know, sometimes things are completely off, as you said before, but, you know, if you just sort of put yourself in that mind frame of just putting your best foot forward, did that help a lot?
Yeah, definitely.
Cool. And like where you are now, man, is pretty high level, but is there something you wish you had done at the start of your career?
Maybe more training the joints to get a little bit of muscle around them before starting, so I didn't. And well, probably the start position, strengthening maybe my back, so it was more upright when I started, not curved. But then I did fix that with a program, many programs. Still a problem now a little bit, but yeah, it's getting better over time.
So just a bit more bodybuilding and that type of stuff? Yeah, cool. And in 10 years time, man, like you'll still be like 18, you know, you're still pretty young, but in 10 years time, like down the track, sort of, if you're pitching yourself as, you know, 10 years from now, what would you sort of say to yourself now?
To like improve in 10 years time?
Yeah.
Well, obviously this Corona hasn't been the best on everyone's training. Not specifically mine, I've been able to train probably a bit more. But I want to tell myself, that's a hard question. I really don't know with that one.
It's a tough one, eh?
Maybe to not worry about what competition's next. Like if I had a bad competition, didn't qualify for junior worlds for next year, there's always the year after and the year after that until I'm senior.
Yeah, cool.
And same for senior if it happens then.
Yep. I've heard a good quote before, and it was like, you know, whatever sport you play, our sport's not who we are, it's what we do. And essentially, like, a lot of athletes will attach, you know, the outcome of their sport to their identity, and when it doesn't quite go their way, it's can actually be quite harmful, I guess, in long term. Yeah. So I guess like letting go of any attachment to the outcome and sort of focusing on that process is a big thing over time.
The more you do that, the less it'll affect your performance on the stage.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, cool. And I guess right now, like who do you reckon is the #1 lifter in the world? Or if there's a couple, and any weight category.
In my opinion?
Yeah.
Lasher.
Yeah.
All the way up there, Lasher Telekazi.
Yep.
Simply because he clean and jerks 260 something.
Yeah. Is that your goal, man? Be a big 150 kilo dude?
No. I'd like to stay kind of lean.
Yeah.
Maybe 96s.
Yep.
Lasher, Rebecca Koha, she's still young. She's got many years to go.
Yep.
And yeah, they're probably top 2.
Cool. And what's the #1 thing you want to improve, whether it's mentally, physically, or just as yourself as a person?
Not being so anxious before competitions.
Yeah, for sure.
And relaxing a bit more. Still learning that one.
Yeah, cool. And if is there anyone you'd really like to thank for where you've got to so far?
Leanne Knox. Just because she's provided so many opportunities to lift, even like through the cyclone, like years ago, her gym was open very quickly, even though everything was still recovering and damaged.
Oh, that's cool.
And simply being there whenever I need help with the programming or technique, anything like that.
Yeah, so
Correcting anything little.
and so I went up to with Sunday weightlifting club about a couple of weeks ago, 2 or 3 weeks ago, and there's about 5 national champions, isn't there, or 6? I started wondering, like, it's just a shed in the middle of nowhere. It's like, what are they feeding you guys up there? Just
Heat.
Heat.
Lots of heat.
Lots of heat. Yeah. Yeah.
Heat makes you strong.
Yeah.
Toughens you up.
Yeah. And I guess, man, like being an elite weightlifter or working towards, being as elite as you possibly can be, can you give us a sort of rundown of your day, your week, your month and your year, sort of how training looks? I guess a couple of things you have to sacrifice and sort of, I guess, just the way you approach it.
Yeah, well, I train usually 5 times a week. Mondays and Sundays off, or Mondays and Fridays off, I mean. And usually I don't really go out much, but it does take a bit of recovery if you're training 5 days a week. It's such long sessions as well.
How long?
3.5 hours.
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
And each day focusing on something different, whether it be strength or technique, both.
Yep.
Eating plenty is a big key in recovery, and plenty of sleep. But yeah, still have a social life, probably just not as much as other teenagers do.
Yep. And like obviously, man, you're a teenager, and there is that sacrifice of wanting to get to that next level. And is there some reason that you're doing that, or is there a reason why?
Yeah, I think it helped so much when I started with how I felt, my mood. I'm continuing to do it, but also the competitive aspect, trying to be the best. That'll probably be the top one.
Yep, and it just gives you an outlet to sort of go hard. And if you could say anything to any young fellas out there, or anyone sort of that wants to get into weightlifting, what would you sort of say to them?
Don't be embarrassed to come to the gym, because everyone's technique is pretty shot when they start.
Yeah.
So you got to start somewhere
And just stick at it.
Mm-hmm.
Sweet as, man. Sweet.